So good morning, everyone, and I welcome you all who have come here and joined the webinar. So I appreciate that you have taken your time to join this webinar this morning. My name is 𝗲𝗵𝗶, and along with me, my colleague Praful is here. So we are working the cloud.in as a solution architect. And in today's webinar, we are going to take you through with the AI-driven threat detection and adaptive perimeter security using Amazon's offerings, which is Amazon Detective and Security Lake. So before we heading ahead, I would like to just give a caveat that by default, every one of you are on mute so that we can avoid background noise and just give a better experience. And if you have any question, you can drop your question on the chat box, or maybe in a Q&A session, you can ask your doubts or any question if you have, right? So I'll quickly jump on our first slide where we're gonna see that what the cloud.in is about and what company do, and what sort of segment it works. So you'll quickly get the insight and understand. Okay. So about the cloud.in, so basically we are an organization which are there in the market from last 26 years. And if you talk about the active locations, so we are physically present in two locations, the Pune and Mumbai. And we have a 75 odd number of people, workforce, which is working for the cloud.in. And if you look at the migration projects which we have delivered so far, it is 130 plus, right? And our all the resources are 100% certified, and we are managing workload like 250 plus, and we do provide NOC support 24/7. And we have 200 plus cloud customers so far. And if we talk about our services and offerings, so these are the verticals and these are the services which we provide, right from the managed services where we provide managed support services to our clients. And if we talk about the projects, then implementation and migration offerings are there. We provide, we help our client to migrate their workloads, whether from the on-premises to AWS or maybe from any other cloud to AWS. Right, and the cloud consulting and the advisory, reselling and billing services, then application services, CDN and S services. We help our clients to optimize their cost with the FinOps services, and the resource augmentation as and when it is required, and then again the generative AI services. Right, and if we say that CDN and S services, that means we are having the enterprise agreement with the CDN pricing as well. So just in case if there is any client which is having the data transfer in a very the heavy traffic is going out, right? So then the cost is pretty much higher. So in that we also help our client to provide the special prices. And if you talk about the industry verticals that we cater, that so in media and entertainment, e-com, information technology, be it the public sector, automobile, or maybe the edtech, FMCG. So these are all the verticals, and so we can say that in the commercial as well as the public sector, the both sectors we have our footprints, whether it's a non-profit organization or be it any startup, right? So and before going to our further agenda, I'm gonna rest here, and with me, as I told you that with me, my colleague Praful is here. So he is gonna be take you through with the further presentation, and we'll start from the agenda first. So Praful, over to you.
So thank you so much, Vimal sir, for your warm introduction and setting stage for me. So good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with you today. So myself, 𝗲𝗵𝗿𝗽. I'm currently working as a cloud consultant in cloud.in. So this session is mainly focused on the critical area in the cloud security is like AI-driven threat detection and adaptive perimeter security using Amazon Detective and Security Lake. So as we see threats continue to evolve, our defense must be evolved too. So that's what we are exploring today in the upcoming slides. That how we can leverage AI automation to be stay ahead in the future for our cloud security. So let's quickly look at what we will be covering today. So my first slide is about agenda. So here is a quick overview of what we will covering in today's session, so you can follow along easily with me. So first, we will talk about why cloud security today needs AI-powered solution, especially with threats becoming more complex and fast-moving. Then I will introduce you to Amazon Security Lake and Detective. These are the Amazon AWS services. This is a two powerful AWS services which are designed for the advanced threat detection and investigation. After that, we will look at how these services work together to help us to investigate and respond faster. And I will also walk you through some of the real world use cases, means including IAM and later movement to show this works in practical scenario. So we will in the touch with the visibility operational benefits of these tools in real time scenario. So and finally, I will share some best practices and next steps to help you to start to improve your own implementation. So the second slide is about introduction to the topic. So let's begin by understanding the environment we are dealing with today. So as we see, cloud environments are now fast moving, distributed, and constantly changing in real world at the same time. So the threats are becoming more stealthy, more sophisticated, and often able to slip past traditional parameter defense. So the challenge occurs is that many legacy security tools just were not built for this kind of dynamic and cloud native world. They can't keep up. That's where AI becomes a game changer. It helps us to detect more anomalies faster, even those that we didn't know to look for. So the good news is that AWS has built various native services designed for these new threat landscapes. They don't just detect threats; they help us to understand and respond them quickly. So in this session, we will explore about Amazon Security Lake, Amazon Detective, and how they work together in very real-time threat detection and investigation process across various accounts and regions and services. So let's take a deeper look at why AI is essential in today's cloud security world. So this slide explains why cloud security needs to change. So let's break it down. Why do we need to change the way we do cloud security today? The first is the pace of cloud adoption is exploding. Business are growing or migrating faster than previous before. They are migrate their workloads on clouds in accounts in very efficient manner. But the security team, it doesn't scale at the same space. So I have been seeing various companies where hundreds of EC2s, Lambdas, S3 buckets are launched in a week, and only three, four people are monitoring them. It's very hard to detect the threats. So second is traditional defense can't stop modern threats. So threats today we are identity based, inside based, and API driven. Also there are some threats. So an attacker might be not even trigger an alert. They will just log with valid credential and acts like a normal user. Though, so the question arises that how do you we can spot them? So that's where behavior analysis and anomaly detection matters, and there gets where AI comes in our picture, and it helps us. So third is logs are scattered. So you have got cloud trails, VPC flow logs, S3 access logs, DNS logs are sitting in different buckets across accounts. So when there is an incident happens, it takes an hours or even days just to collect that data. It's like having puzzle pieces scattered across different rooms and trying to solve the puzzle during a crisis. So fourth is manual investigation is just too slow. So let's say you just got an alert, then what? What happened? You have to query logs, jump between services, figure out relation between events. Meanwhile, the attacker is already in your data, is it is extracting your data. Fifth is attackers are moving literally inside the your environment. So they start one compromised instance, then they pivot your RDF, S3 and IAM. Let's say if you only rely on the perimeter defense, it's already too late. You need to visibility inside your environment. And finally, all the points to need the AI-driven security tools and centralized visibility and automation. We need a way to pull the logs together, analyze their behavior, and give quick answer by something if something looks suspicious. So where my four slides comes in picture. So role of AI in fighting threats. So now that we can see that why security needs to evolve, let's look at the core of the evaluation of AI. So AI is not a buzzword over here. It's playing a direct role in helping us to detect and respond modern threats faster and more accurately. First, AI can spot unusual patterns than human often miss. For example, a user login for an unfamiliar location at an unusual hours, accessing service they never touched before, might not trigger a static rule, but AI understand the behavior baselines and flag that suspicious. Example, let's say your developer always works from India during daytime hours and mostly uses Lambda. One day they access EC2 S3 from US at 2 a.m. That's something AI will catch without needing a rule to be written manually. Second, AI helps detect signature threats. Think of it like an insider attack or zero-day attacks. These don't have no malware signatures, but AI can still flag them based on unusual patterns, API calls, or privilege escalation attempts. Third is AI learns past events, so it constantly improves. If a similar kind of phishing attacks happened 3 months ago, the AI model adapts and can now flag slightly variously in future. So it's just like a security analyst who never forgets and keeps getting better. Fourth is AI reduce noises. So legacy tools often generates hundreds of alerts. Many of them are false positives. AI filters those intelligently, also you can learn the focus on the real issues. So this not only saves our time but reduce our SOC team's efforts. And finally, AI helps in smarter and scalable detection across entire cloud. Let's say whether it's an IAM abuse or unusual S3 access or is any DNS tunneling or cross-region login attempts. So AI definitely helps you just not to reacting them, but you are predicting and preventing the attacks. So now the question arises in everyone's mind is that how exactly AWS deliver all the AI capability. So this brings to our next slide that what is Amazon Detective, Amazon Security Lakes. These tools are mainly built for the AI-driven threat detection journey. So next slide is about what is Amazon Detective. So now let's dive into one of the key tools in our AI-powered threat detection toolbox is Amazon Detective. So what exactly does it does? So Detective is a fully managed service from AWS that helps your security teams to investigate, understand the potential security issues using machine learning, statistical analysis, and graph theory. So basically, it is just like the raw log data from the services like CloudTrail, VPC Flow Logs, guard duty and security hubs, and then automatically organizes and connects this data to the visual interactive stories. So for example, say guard duty reports that there is a potential compromised IAM user. So detective can automatically pulls together all the activity from the user, login location, API calls, EC2 instance they touched, S3 buckets access, everything, and shows it on the graph based timelines. So instead of manually searching through all the logs and piecing and solving all the puzzles together, you get a clear visual what happened, when, and by whom. So, and this is the very best part. There is no setup needed for that. Means you just enable the detective and it starts investigate data automatically. You don't have to build any pipelines, write queries, or configure dashboards. It also supports multi-account and multi-region analysis. So if you are in a large organization or running any multiple accounts, detective lets you to collect this all of across all together from a single pane of glass. So let's say everyone minds that it's also about pricing. So in terms of pricing, it's very simple. You only have to pay amount of data analyzed, which is measured in GBs. So no pre-user or upfront license cost is required. It scales within your users. Overall, think Amazon Detective as your security investigation engine. It's always running in your background, pulling data together and giving you the full picture whatever something suspicious happens. So up next, let's look at what is Amazon Security Lake, which works uh, hands in and hands in detective by the centralizing and normalizing all the log data in one piece. So where am I coming to the next slide? That is what is Amazon Security Lake. Now that we have covered Amazon Detective helps you to investigate threat visually, let's talk about the engine that feeds it with rich, structured, and scalable security data using Amazon Security Lake. So, what exactly Security Lake is? So, at a high level, let's say it is a centralized log storage and analyzer storage using security data. So, I will break down in simply so everyone can understand. So think about how many different places your security logs can come from. It can come from CloudTrail, it can come from VPC flow logs, it can come from Route 53 DNS logs, custom app logs, third-party tool like 𝗲𝗏𝗏. Normally, all these logs are scattered across accounts, services, and formats. Let's say security lakes solve that problem by pulling all these logs into a centralized Amazon S3 bucket and covering them into a common format and OCSF means the Open Cybersecurity Schema Framework. This is like a framework. So I can make it tables to the real world analogy so that everyone would understand. So it's kind of like a putting all your security footage into a one cloud folder and converting them into a camera video into the same format. So you can search, analyze, and correlate everything easily regardless of where it came from. So let's say once in the lake, you can run Athena queries directly onto the logs or connects tools like QuickSight, SageMaker, or even SIM platforms or Splunk for deeper analysis. So security lakes also support for multi-account, multi-region steps automatically. So if you are in a large organization like 10, 20, or 50 AWS accounts, so it scales with you. You don't have to build or maintain pipelines. It's handled by AWS. So talking about the pricing is based on the injections volume and S3 Athena uses you use. So you have to pay for what you store, analyze, not to set up or fix the licensing. So now how does all this AI helps in for the threat detection? So I will click here with the real value example. Once your logs are normalized, centralized in security lake, and Amazon Detective can instantly access them and give them visual investigation that are complete, fast, and context rich. So, in short, what I'm trying to say is that security lake is the foundation and detective is the analysis on the top of it. Together, they create a powerful loop of detection, investigation, and response. So, up next, let's look at how the real world use cases and how they work together. This is my seventh slide. How they work together. And now let's bring all together and see how security lake and detective actually works as a team to give you faster and more scalable threat detection. First is Amazon Security Lake acts as a centralized data layer. It pulls all logs from your AWS services, your on-premise environment, and even third-party sources like Okta or your firewall logs. So it normalizes all this data in one standard format, as I told before, in OCSF format, and so it can be we read and co-related and visually visualized easily. So then comes Amazon Detective. It helps to the clean and structured data from the security lake and automatically builds visual timelines and relationship graphs. So instead of looking at thousands of raw logs, you can see a story: who logged in, from where, what resources are where we have touched, and what happens before and after the suspicious behavior. So let's say guard duty raises an alert from the unauthorized access from the EC2 instance with security lake. That alerts underlying logs are already centralized and normalized. So detective then automatically connects these dots. Means some of the main dots are like what I am user or roles are used. Was there any unusual login from another region just before? Was there any lateral movement from IDS or S3 bucket? So you will see the entire sequence as a visual graph, not just raw logs. So this tight integration means you eliminate the need of manually jump between the tools. You don't waste time. You don't hunting for logs, different regions or format. You just get deeper, faster, more conceptual investigation. It also helps to reduce alert. So because instead of flood of alerts, you get a clear narrative that making it easier in the real threat scenario. So together, security lake and detective gives you a security team them to detect, understand, and respond all the logs to for the AI environment. Next, let's look at the real world use cases for this. So you can see the tool section. So next is a this is a real-time example which I have explained so that everyone can understand the real how these services can be used in the real-time scenario. So my first example is the compromised IAM user. Let's look at the real-time world example, something that happens far more often than we like to admit a compromised IAM user. This is a great way to see how guard duty, security lake, and detects all come together during an actual threat. Let's say imagine an attacker gets hold on IAM credential, maybe through the phishing attack or may credential were accidentally exposed in a GitHub repo or liquidated to a third party contractor. So the attackers now logs in, and from the AWS perspective, this looks like a valid IAM user. So fortunately, if we see, we have a Amazon Guard Duty is watching in your real-time scenario. So it's sees something off. Maybe the login from the unusual, or maybe the IAM user is suddenly trying to assume that the new roles or access sensitive services. So guard duty raise an alert, but an alert alone isn't enough for this. So behind the scene, Amazon Security Lex is already doing this job. It has captured all your authentication logs, API calls, cloud trail events, all in normalized format in S3. So now we can raw data ready to investigate. No need to go to digging. So next, Amazon Detective picks up and this alert start visualizing what everything happens in a real-time scenario. So you will see a when timeline when you are in your AWS account and using the services, like when the login happened, what services are we used, which EC2 we have touched, whether the attacker attempts a lateral movement to S3 or RDS, how permission where escalates or roles are were switch. So these are all shown in the relational graph. So you don't just have logs, you just have a narrative of the attack. So the security team sees this and can immediately access the blast radius. Was data is changed or was anything changed in the data? So based on that, they can revoke credentials, isolate EC2s, or initial incident response. So I come to the next slide. This is another example, so you can understand why this services is very essential in current environment. So this example mainly is moving through cloud resources. Now let's look at another real world scenario that one focuses on what we call as the inside cloud environment. So this is something that often goes undetected by traditional perimeter security tool, but it's something security legs and detective handle exponentially well. Let's say an attacker somehow compromise your EC2 instance. Maybe it may be exposed to the internet without proper controls, or it was running outdated software with a known vulnerability. So attackers gets in, and now they are not trying to steal something immediately. Instead of, they are trying to move quickly inside your cloud. From the EC2, they might use IAM roles to access your S3 bucket, or they are trying to connect the RDS database using stolen credentials, or using VPC peering or shared services, because this activity is happening inside your AWS account, not from the outside, or traditional parameter security tools don't raise alarms. So this is a Amazon security lake shines. It's already collecting VPC flow logs, CloudTrail service access logs. So across accounts and region. So even if attacker jumps from the EC2 in one account and RDS in another region, you still get the full picture. That Amazon detective steps in, and it uses graph modeling to show you where the attackers came from, what EC2 instances are involved, what services they are touched, what roles or identities were assumed. So you just get a timeline and visual graph for that end-to-end points, when the level of security visibility, or identify the initial entry point, access what are changed in the logs, contain the attack quickly by isolating compromised associate, and even upload IAM policies for the repeat attempts. So final note, what I'm trying to give is that this example shows why centralized visibility plus AI driven is so powerful. It's just not like catching the first alert, but it's about the seeing the full control, means who, what, where, and when. So you can respond smarter and for your future attacks. So I will come to my next slide. That smarter perimeter security using AWS tools. So let's now talk about how we can build a smarter, more adaptive perimeter using AWS native tools. So traditionally, if we say that perimeter security focus on the firewalls, or IP filtering, and guarding the network edge, basically keeping attacks out. But here is the problem in the cloud. So there is no fixed parameters. Cloud resources are dynamic. Usage logs in from anywhere. Infrastructure can spin up down in second. So even the best traditional defense might miss threats already got in, or what's inside your threats. That's where Amazon Detective and Security Lake change the game. So instead of just watching to the edge, these tools mainly focused on what happening inside your cloud, analyzing user behavior, API activity, role assumption, and service level actions. So it's like going from a basic door lock to a front door lock, like CCTV, fingerprint, or motion sensor system. It's just like a real-time example I'm giving, with alerts that actually make sense. So they don't really on any signatures like traditional antivirus, but they look at the anomalies and things that break normal patterns, like why is the IAM role suddenly accessing 20 S3 buckets? It's never touched before. These are the real-time examples anyone can imagine. Why there is a new login from a Singapore account? It's always login from the India. So these questions are automatically and continuously and at scale. So now your parameter is just about blocking. It's about detecting, understanding, and adopting in the real-time scenario. So if something suspicious happens, these tools let you to investigate it fast, content it early, and learn from the defense going forward. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that Amazon Detective and Security Lake give a behavior-based data-driven perimeter security designed for the how cloud really works today. So let's now shift focus to our threat detection, something equally critical in compliance and visibility. Because if we see in today's environment, it's just not about the catching attackers, it's also about the proving that your systems are secure, monitor, and complement. So first off, Amazon Security Lake acts as a centralized log across your various account services, even third-party tools. So all the logs, whether from the CloudTrail, VPC Flow logs, or the guard duty, are stored in Amazon S3, making them easy to query or analyze. So this reduces blind spots on your various logs, which are stored in your various accounts. So here is a key is that you can use OCSF for a format for that. So Security Lake automatically normalize all the logs in the your standard format. So why is that important? Because it means all your logs speaks the same language, making them searching or integrating with the tools like audit dashboards, which makes him easier. So I will tell you what happened. So Amazon Detective gives you a rich visual and timeline, like who did what, when did, or what resources they are touched on. That's not just helpful for the security teams, it also for the gold for the auditors, because you are able to provide clear traceable evidence to everyone. In fact, both these services helps for the compliance framework, which we explain in the next slide. So together, these tools don't just improve your security posture, but it always helps to reduce audit stress, improve readiness, increase visibility across various accounts. So, so operational use case of security elect and detective. So all right, let's now bring everything together. And now, how you can operationally apply this security elect and detective in your daily environment starting today. So first, you see that security lake centralized all the logs, stores, and normalize your security data. Think of it like a foundation layer. It pulls in logs from the AWS sources like CloudTrail, VPC Flow logs, GuardDuty, and even third-party tools, and stores everything in Amazon S3 in OCSF format. So that's give you a single source of truth across accounts and services. Next, Amazon Detective in data to create the visual investigation. This is where the real magic happens here. That you get an interactive timeline, entire relationship graphs that connects IP's role, user and services, and pre-wheel context, so you don't start investigate from the scratch. So let's say now here is where it becomes more powerful at the scale. So with all logs, OCSF format, you can run complex queries using Amazon Athena across regions and accounts. That's exactly helpful in your large organizations for managing multiple environments, and it's just like a serverless, so you don't need to infrastructure to maintain. Together, these architectures significantly reduce MTDD and MTTR. MTDD means mean time to detect, mean time to respond. You are just identifying issues faster. You are not responding this evidence back in confidence. So operationally, think of security lake as your data lake for security detect for a visual investigation engine. Combine they give you speed, intelligence to secure and complex cloud operation. So coming to my next slide, that best practices to get started. So I think this is a lot more. So I will explain this slide. So so we have talked about what Amazon Detective Security Lake can do. But now let switch gears and look how to start your journey with these services in smart, safe, and structured way. First and foremost, I'm trying to think is that don't go straight to production. Spin up your AWS test environment for your existing dev accounts to experiment. Enable guard duty, security, like and detective together. So you can see how these services integrate out of the box. Next, makes you sure that collecting essential logs from AWS CloudTrail for your API calls, VPC flow logs for your network behavior, and Route 53 DNS logs for tracking domain access. Um, This give you the insights for your first place attackers do traces. So I will give a great tip that use tools like AWS guard duty findings or even IAM role for misuse scenario. Do simulate threats, then use Amazon Detective to trace those activities. So your team gets hands-on practice with the timeline investigation graph. It's just like running fire drills, but for a cloud security. So you can also integrate security like guard duty with your various platform like Splunk. So this helps centralize detection response across cloud or on-premise environment. So for high risk events, you get further use AWS Lambda or Automate remediation. So for example, let's say if a suspicion login detects, you can auto disable the IAM user or trigger EMFA reset instantly. Lastly, what I'm trying to say, don't even follow AWS security blueprints, blog post, well architecture frameworks. These give you step by step align with the industry best practices, compliance frameworks, and real world scenario. Coming to my next slide. So, so bringing everything together, let's talk about the big picture. This is where the Amazon security lake and detective transfer your cloud security posture. So with the security lake and detective in place, you gain deep centralized visibility across your all cloud resources, not just about one region or one account, but across entire AWS footprint. And when something suspicious happens, you don't have to go to log hunting or detects gives investigation timelines or relations graph. It's just a few clicks because both the service are native with the AWS, but they automatically pull all your data from CloudTrail, VPC, GuardDuty, Security Hub, and more with no manual setup required. This make it truly real time for multi-account, for multi-region, which helps for the dynamic cloud environments. Another major strength is that the AI-driven engine behind Detective helps out false positive surface. Instead of alert, you get the clarity that clear path to follow, starting to the root cause. So what makes it really powerful, that ability to continuously monitor behavior. That means you are not just detecting the signatures, you are adapting new threats. Combines this with the Lambda automations, and you are ready for the fast, consistent response. So all of these perfectly into a zero trust model where you can assume, monitor everything, and verify each access pattern. So together, Security Lake and Detective help you to build a cloud security foundation that's not only intelligent and scalable, but also adaptive, automated, and zero trust ready. So cloud threat. So coming to my next slide. Is that this is a real-time use case we are using for the building the AI inventories, where you can use the Amazon security lakes. We can collect and normalize the logs using CloudTrail, VPC, DNS using I already said about OCSF format. So it can store the data centrally at a scale via, we can use the Amazon Athena for that. We can detective inject data to build visual timelines for this activity. Also we can investigate it using and step by step for the tracing. Also we can have the detect the threats like not the axis for the lateral movement. We can deliver seamless detection, deep visibility for this faster response. So this is a real-time scenario, a real-time use case we are using for that. So coming to the, so let's wrap up everything we are covered today. So what we are so everyone can understand what we can learn today, that cloud threats today are more advanced and more targeted and much harder to detect. Attackers don't just hit your perimeters, but they move inside silently. So legacy tools simply designed for this kind of dynamic fast moving environment. They lack the visibility, speed, and intelligence we need today. That's where the service like Amazon Security Lake, Amazon Detective comes in a picture. They offer real-time AI-driven context threat detection, but narratively for the cloud. They help you to not just detect but investigate and respond quickly. and that's a massive shift in the capability. Together, they are enabled to secure approach that resilient, adaptive, and scalable, a foundation that's ready for the today's threats and tomorrow challenges. So, by adopting these services, and organizations can truly stay one step ahead for attackers' compliance risks allies. So, they bring just to the end to the my session. Thank you so much for staying engaged. I hope this helps you to understand how AI Amazon Security Detective can reshape your cloud security posture. So now I'd love to hear from you that if you have any questions or technical, practical, even strategy, please free to ask. I will do my best to give you a clear answer. If anything needs deeper follow-up, I am happy to connect after the session as well. And we have given the please scan this QR code to submit your feedback also. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. I will give my best to answer this. Yes, Om, please ask your question. So if you have any question, please free to ask me. Please, Om.
Hello, sir. I'm
Hello,
audible.
Yes.
Yes, so my question was regarding security compliances. Can these services help us meet compliances requirement like SOC2 or PCI DSS?
Yes, absolutely. Amazon Security Lake provides long-term centralized log storage and standard formatting, which simplifies your audit preparation and compliance. So Amazon Detective provides clear timelines, access insights, making it easier to show how incidents were investigated, which is often required for the SOC2, ISO, or PCI DCS reporting. I think that's my question. Thank you. This is a very important question in the security perspective. I think I resolve your doubt.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anyone who have question for me? Yes, Farad.
Hey, hi Praful.
Yes.
So I have a question. Is there a way to automate threat response using these tools?
Yes. While detective and security, Lake helps you to detect the investigation, which I already explained, and you can integrate with AWS Lambda or Event Bridge. For example, let's say if an IAM user shows that suspicious activity, a Lambda function can could automatically revoke credential and without human invention. So I think I solve your doubt.
Yeah, it was an insightful, rich meetup. Thanks for the answer.
Yes. Thank you. If is anyone have questions for me?
Okay, I see there are two questions in the chat. The first one was asked whether the multi-cloud can be considered with this solution. Multi-cloud, so including AWS, Azure, or GCP, right? So I would like to answer that question. I mean, that's a very relevant question, right? So when we are discussing getting collected all the logs at one single place and then query all those data and get the insight with the help of AI, right? So the answer is straightforward: is all this detective and the security lake are meant natively for AWS services, but there is a way around. So if we need to take the data or logs collected from the Azure or maybe the Google Cloud, so what we can do, we can take all those logs from their blob storage or maybe the GCS Google storage bucket. We can take that logs from their bucket, and then we need to convert those log data into the open source cybersecurity schema framework, right? So that it can be queried in a standard format, right? So there is a way out, but again, we need to, like, there's a way around. We need to work on that, right? So it is not directly, but again, the possibility is definitely yes. And the another question I see here is the security lake same like a SIEM. So answer is yes, it is like a SIEM, but there is an additional thing which is here we are talking about. So we've seen the lot of time in the presentation, we've seen the AI, right? So basically it is a difference in the regular SIEM and with all the services like Amazon Detective and the security lake. So the idea here is to suppose you have any resources or any services from anywhere, from your on premises, maybe on any other cloud, right? So what you do exactly, so every time you have collected the telemetry data, right, and this on this basis of telemetry data you come to some conclusion, right? So sometimes it is manual, sometimes it is predefined, straightforward decision you can make. But again, there's a lot of data, there are a lot of things which are happening. So why the AI has came into the picture? Just to provide you the accurate insight. I mean, every one of you are using AI for getting your decision make more smarter and fast, right? So AI is actually doing all those stuff here under the hood. And how, suppose there is a multiple data logs data is coming in, right? So AI basically is generating some kind of pattern, right, at the back end. There's a machine learning algorithms are running. So I mean, and at the same time it is being continuously improving itself at the back end. If you talk about the secure this Amazon Detective and the security lake, so it is working on some pattern, and then it will give you insight on the basis of that, right? So I mean, how it is, what is the trade-off? So basically it is the time to resolve any bad thing happen to your account. So in a lesser time you are getting the better output, better result, where you can you can take the actions accordingly. And as Praful mentioned, then if we need to remediate any response, right, then again you can use the other services. We can automate the Lambda function if there any other action to be taken, so that obviously we can perform. So again, it's a SIEM, but having the advantages of AI at the back end. So I hope that answers your question.
So I have raised another question that does this work for the AWS environment only, or does it support for GCP and Azure? I think yes, these are, but there are another various services for that, and not everyone has different services.
Okay, Praful, I guess that question has already been answered. So that's so. If, do we have any other questions, or we can just? Okay, so I would request everyone, please scan this QR code and just share your feedback with us, so that we can improve ourselves in terms of like, so that we can come up next time with a more improved version of our presentation. Maybe if you have any suggestion to, if you any particular topic you want to have this session or webinar, so kindly suggest with the help of this feedback form. That would be really helpful for us. Okay, so thank you everyone. Thanks for joining our today's webinar.
I hope so you like the session. Thank you. Please